In other sports news, it's a very exciting moment as we are about to officially induct another sportsman into the Bugle Crazy Sportsman Hall of Fame. We've had so many athletes from American sports that have raised the bar for batshittery. And now, finally, Europe has stepped up to the crazy plate with one of its own. Step forward, Mario Balotelli, striker for Manchester City in Italy and certifiable nutjob. Take a bow, you magnificent lunatic. He's been making a pretty good case for his inclusion over the last few months, but his application became unrefusable this week when he almost burnt his house down in the early hours of Saturday morning, just 36 hours ahead of his team's biggest game of the season against Manchester United, by setting off fireworks inside his bathroom. Apparently, he was trying to fire them out of the window. Brilliant, Andy. Just brilliant. Also, this happened a mere 2 days after saying his bad boy days were behind him. And that's still true. His bad boy days are behind him, Andy. It's just that his incredible boy days are here.
And a really exciting thing about Balotelli as a member of the Hall of Crazy is he's only 21.
That's the thing.
He's got so much.
Think of what he can do.
I mean, he can do some amazing things for crazy sport.
You might argue that it's a little too early in his career to already make the Crazy Hall of Fame, but don't be so quick to judge. Wait for the facts. Let's just look at his numbers. Here are some highlights of what Super Mario has been up to. Just 2 weeks into his Manchester City career, he crashed his car near the training ground. He was breathalyzed and searched, during which time they found that he had £5,000 in cash in his back pocket. When policemen asked him why this was the case, Balotelli replied to them in broken English, "Because I am rich." Good start.
But also, just recently, he was asked for an autograph at the Manchester City training ground by a schoolboy, and he asked him why he wasn't at school. And the boy said he'd been bullied, and Balotelli then drove the boy and his mother to their school and confronted the bully.
Phenomenal.
Well, and after the firework incident, he's now taken part in a firework safety campaign as well.
Then, in October last year, Mario and his 17-year-old brother were arrested strolling through the grounds of a women's prison in Brescia near Milan. Apparently, he told police that curiosity had got the better of him and he, I quote, just fancied having a look. That's right, Mario Balotelli broke into a prison. Still not convinced? Well, how about my favourite? The story claiming that Mario's mother, after consultations with his new cleaner, sent Mario off to the local John Lewis store to buy a list of supplies, including an iron, a mop and a vacuum cleaner. A few hours later, Mario's car came home. It pulled up with a van behind it, which promptly unloaded a giant trampoline, 2 Vespa scooters and no cleaning products whatsoever.
Well, to be fair,
He's sensational!
You could use the scooters as an iron, and when you've got a giant trampoline, who gives a shit if your carpets are clean?
Even last weekend, after scoring against Manchester United, he pulled up his shirt to reveal a T-shirt underneath reading, "Why always me?" He's not just an athlete, Andy, he's a philosopher. He's getting our attention with goals and then pondering profound questions for us to answer. Don't be surprised if next time he scores, he pulls up a T-shirt revealing, "Are we not just dust? Dust in the wind of history." And we'll all stop and say, "You're absolutely right, Mario. You've nailed it again," before resuming jumping up and down at his magnificent scissor kick.
He's been stopped by police brandishing a toy gun in public, fined for driving around at 1:30 in the morning tooting his car horn in a built-up area. When he was playing for Inter Milan, after being dropped, he went on a TV show wearing the shirt of their arch-rivals AC Milan, which is a bit like a defeated Republican presidential candidate turning up to the Republican convention dressed as Lenin and eating cabbage soup. He's recently given £1,000 in cash to a tramp in Manchester. He had his Maserati bashed up outside a lap dancing club by bouncers because he'd annoyed them so much. He's thrown darts at youth team players at the Manchester City training ground. And apparently had his car confiscated 25 times in less than a year and a half since moving to Manchester. It's extraordinary. He's got a fascinating life. He had to deal with large-scale racism in his personal life and throughout his football career in Italy, where they generally view with some suspicion, Italian football fans, anyone who cannot prove that their great-grandfather fought with Julius Caesar in the 7th Legion in Gaul. He's helped build a new school in Sudan. And there just seems no end to what he could do. And now, I think we need to put this in context. For the first start, he's regarded as one of the most talented young footballers in the world. His former manager, Jose Mourinho, said he trained at 25%. If he trained at 50%, he'd be one of the best players in the world. And this is the most important piece of context this year, John. In April of this year, Balotelli was linked with a move to AC Milan, but the owner of AC Milan said that Balotelli's behaviour would be not suitable for the club. Now, you might think that doesn't seem so unreasonable. Presumably the owner merely wants to maintain standards at his club, because footballers are now often seen as role models in the modern world, and the owner's entirely within his rights to expect his players to live up to that. And you'll be justified in thinking that, until you hear the name of the owner of AC Milan saying that Balotelli's behaviour was not up to scratch. And that name is Silvio Berlusconi.
It's true. Well, welcome to the Crazy Hall of Fame, Mario Balotelli. Richly deserved. You complete crazy bastard.
21 years old, John.
21, so talented.
He could have another 15 years at the top level of crazy sports.
So talented.
He's probably going to launch a nuclear strike at some point just to pass the time. Wouldn't be surprised if he's supposed to be playing in the World Cup final for Italy and he turns up on the moon in a rocket.